Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to my World of Darkness with episode 15 of the Thicker Than Water recap. Now, we have not had a Thicker Than Water recap in a little while, and that's because we haven't been able to play Thicker Than Water in 2 weeks. Painful, I know. But unfortunately, Serendipity, Daviga, Avalyn, Gwen were pretty much all busy 2 weeks ago for one reason or another, personal stuff, business ventures, and the like. And we ended up having David Gonzalez over here for our 400 subscribers special and doing our interview with a vampire and discussing all the ins and outs of everything Damien with David. We had a great time. I had a great time. But unfortunately, because no game happened, no recap. This past week, it did not happen because Gwen was still busy. Avalyn was taking part in another role-playing game that she does once a month, and it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. As it was, Daviga and Serendipity got back and were both exhausted. I was exhausted, and we just needed a time to rest as it is. But I did run a single scene with Serendipity. As you can see, we are planted firmly in front of the Pittock Mansion in beautiful Portland, Oregon, because we are going to take a little bit of a trip back 4 months as far as our game is concerned. Back to the night that Damien turned to Axel and Sam turned to Tommy, and what exactly happened to our dear Dawn Rose when she went back upstairs that night. Dawn felt compelled to go up to her room. She didn't exactly know why, but she excused herself politely and she left. That was before Deacon Royce arrived as well, so she has no idea that Deacon Royce had come back, or that sadly, in all that time, he disappeared yet again due to the beckoning. Arriving at her room upstairs, Dawn didn't find anything out of the ordinary. There wasn't anybody waiting for her or anything like that. There was just a small postcard, "Welcome to Nevada." When seeing the postcard, she got this urge of she needs to be there. And without saying a word, she grabbed her things and she left. She obfuscated her way out of the mansion, past whatever guards the Camarilla had set to watch the Anarchs to make sure they wouldn't escape, and made her way towards one of her many havens that she keeps scattered throughout Portland. Now, for those of you who are not in the know, Dawn's havens are various. She has campers and Winnebagos stashed all over Portland in various camper storage areas. By the time she reached the closest one, the sun was coming up, so she slept for the day. But the next night when she woke up, she got herself ready, got behind the wheel, and drove out of town. Dawn abandoned Portland. She started driving south, and within 2 nights of driving all night and sleeping all day on the side of the road, very dangerous way of traveling for a Kindred, she made her way to the Nevada desert, where, as the sun was coming up, yet again she found nothing but an empty wasteland of sand and wilderness. Arriving at the desert, Dawn was reminded of that dream she had not too long ago. The stars in the skies, the cool sand on her feet, the smell of the desert air, and being attacked by the 3, the crane, the tiger, and the dragon. She remembered the vast war, of calling her children to help fight. She remembered the storm that blotted out the sun from the sky, and then she remembered her destruction as she lay on the ground, engulfed in flames, bathed in sunlight, and releasing that last call, consume, to her multitudes of children. That was devastating to Dawn, but with the sun paling the sky and the horizon, she decided there wasn't really much else to do here out in the desert, and decided that she should sleep and leave the next night. Now, the next night, Dawn woke up to another dream. She had flashes of the feeling of hands softly running all over her body, lips pressing against hers. Quickened breath. Dawn had one of the most profound and sensory absorbing dreams of her existence. Now, Dawn at this point in time has come to acknowledge seduction as a tool. She doesn't really get much out of it any longer, her humanity fading quickly every time she absorbs the life of another kindred, whenever she commits the amaranth, whenever she decides to diablerize. Unfortunately, this has taken a toll on the humanity of Dawn, as it does for all kindred who partake. But this dream filled her with not just longing to feel that again, but also dread, because she knew that she was losing that part of herself. The smell of spiced herbs still in the air as she wakes up, she laid there for a little while, almost in mourning for what she'd lost. And as she peeks outside the sun guards, her camper is actually parked outside a group of tents. She sees people walking all over the place. She can hear people talking, enjoying themselves, laughter. When Dawn is able to finally sneak out of her camper, she realizes that there are no guards outside, nobody's watching her. She quickly wraps herself in shadows and stealthily makes her way throughout the camp, observing the humans who seem to just be enjoying themselves out in the desert. Perhaps she accidentally stumbled upon a ground for a festival that's going to be happening, Burning Man or something like that. But there's not that many. There's only a couple of dozen people around, a few tents smattered here and there, with one large tent that's off towards the back. Getting a closer look, she can see that there's people here of all ethnic groups, but she can't really make out the language that they're speaking. She's heard it before. It sounds familiar, but she doesn't know what it says. The people around the camp are eating, drinking, some of them making love, some of them watching the others making love, some of them just telling stories and joking back and forth. It's just comforting. Making her way over to the larger tent, she sees people walking in and out from time to time and decides that she's going to try to slip. And Dawn botched this roll completely, unfortunately, and ends up slamming into a young girl as she's walking out of the tent and Dawn is trying to get into the tent. With the language that Dawn can't understand, the girl is obviously trying to apologize and make sure that Dawn is okay. As she catches her, Dawn also realizes that this girl was rather handsy in trying to make sure that she was all right. And when Dawn makes it obvious that she does not know what the girl is saying, she says, yes, are you okay? Are you fine? Did I hurt you? Concerned for Dawn. Dawn realizes that everyone in the tent is watching her now, and there's a good half a dozen people in here. She says that she's fine, and the girl blushes and smiles and walks out and says maybe she'll see her by the fire. When she turns around, Dawn realizes that she is in a beautifully decorated tent with pillows and curtains and sweet smelling fragrances in the air, lamps hanging from the ceiling. The half dozen or so people who are in here are looking at her with concern, but also happiness that she is here. The woman in the middle asks if she's okay, and also if she needs anything, if she needs any refreshments of any kind. Dawn, realizing that she hasn't eaten anything since she left Portland, does say that she is in need of nourishment, and a young man and a young girl step up. She looks over to make sure it's okay. The obvious host of this party nods at her and smiles and takes a very large drag off a hookah. Dawn goes up to the girl and very sensuously bites in. And as Dawn's feeding, she realizes that the girl is holding the hand of the young man, who has a beaming smile on his face. This seems to be a great honor. The girl that she's feeding on is in full swing, enjoying what is going on, vocally moaning, and the blood is very sweet and sanguine. And the two lazily wander out past the door, the rest of the group leaving, as well as the woman in the center of the room says that she needs to have a private word with Dawn. She knows her name. This is a bit threatening to Dawn, but also inviting at the same time. The woman in the tent, the woman in charge, she introduces herself as Vasantasina and tells her that she could sense Dawn from Portland and she had summoned her here. Dawn's a bit taken aback at this, but does not have anywhere else to go, so decides that she's going to stay and at least hear her out. Vasantasina tells her that she has been affected by an ancient and that her will is not fully her own. This affects Dawn because she has a need to save those damsels in distress, and at this point she realizes that she herself may very well be a damsel in distress. Vasantasina and Dawn sit for some time and discuss for a little while about how an ancient by the name of Zapathasura has affected Dawn's blood and is causing her to have urges that are not her own, a need to consume Kindred and to climb in potency, achieving a level of power that is unnecessary for Dawn to ever achieve. And where Dawn's not 100% in agreement that this has happened to her, because she does not feel as if she's being pushed in any specific direction. Vasantasina tells her that she would like to try to help her. She doesn't know if she can. She's never tried anything with that much potency. But she does have methods of breaking the bond, and that Dawn is in fact bloodbound to this ancient kindred, and that this kindred might actually be living within Dawn herself. Where these dreams that Dawn has in the desert, where she's calling multitudes of children and she's fighting off adversaries and the storms, they aren't her memories, they aren't her dreams. They're the memories of this Zapathasura. Vasantasina tells her that she has a ritual that she would like to perform for Dawn, and it is of no risk to her. All she would have to do is open her heart and trust, which is not 100% the easiest thing to do for most vampires. Retrieving a brass bowl and a very ornate, beautiful, thin blade knife, she hands the bowl and the blade over to Dawn and says that she needs some of her blood, but she will not take it. It must be freely given. There is no risk of a bond to Dawn. And where Dawn asks if she is not worried about the fact that she could become bloodbound, she just smiles and laughs it off and says, but she has the ability to break the blood bond. Dawn freely gives her blood, and she tells her that she may wish to leave, that this could take some time, but it also will be dangerous because she will be riding the wave of frenzy during this process, this dark ritual that she has that will shatter the blood bond. Vasantasina is going to imbibe Dawn's blood and then battle the beast of Zapathasura within it. Dawn gives her blood freely and leaves as Vasantasina suggests. Dawn spends the rest of the evening around the campfire with the few dozen people who are there traveling with Vasantasina. They acknowledge themselves as her followers, as her children, and they all are loved and cared for. And they're all eating. They're all making love, they're all joking, they're all having fun. It really does seem like just a festival that Dawn may have attended in her mortal years on the pagan author racket that she used to travel in. Looking back towards Vasantasina's tent, Dawn notices that there are 4 guards standing outside. These are the only aggressive looking people here. They're dressed in plain, simple clothes like the others, but their stance is different. They're standing up straight. They're holding weapons, guns, blades, and guarding the entrance to Vasantasina's tent, not allowing anyone through. When they're there, however, no one really attempts to enter the tent. No one really even acknowledges the fact that they're there, as the night just continues on around the campfire. Dawn has several conversations with people, but nothing too life-shattering, just accepting the fact that these people are here by choice to live a life of simplicity and love. When she awakens the next night, she finds the guards outside of Vasantasina's tent gone, and she enters. Vasantasina is alone in the tent when Dawn enters. They exchange greetings, and the conversation is quick and to the point. Vasantasina tells Dawn that she battled the beast, and she's temporarily won, but with blood as potent as Zapathasura's. She's not 100% sure if she can possibly fend it off for good. Dawn explains to Vasantasina that she does not know how she could have become infected, but she does relate that her sire had chosen her for the embrace as an experiment, to be embraced but then be given this blood to see if it would have any side effects, that her sire had observed her since this had taken place, but didn't really know what kind of side effects could be in place. Vasantasina tells her that she really needs to try to find the children of Zapathasura, to try to relate to them, to try to get information from them, that Dawn needs to find Ravno. Dawn didn't exactly know what to say about this, but Vasantasina did tell her that she and her group would be traveling and looking for the Ravno, and if she would like to come with her, she would be welcome. And that is where the scene ends. 4 months ago in our timeline, obviously not in real time, but 4 months ago in our game, Dawn Rose met the elder Malkavian, Vasantasina, and joined her traveling troupe of primarily herd and retainers. And she is now traveling the night, looking for Clan Ravno, to get answers for the blood of Zapathasura that pumps through her veins. I've been asked multiple times what I would do with the blood of Zapathasura in the Week of Nightmares lore sheet, and I've been reluctant to answer, primarily because I didn't want to give anything away. I didn't want to let anybody know what I was doing in or out of character. When we first got together and built Dawn Rhodes' character, Serendipity and I, we didn't have a full range of understanding of how lore sheets were supposed to work. That you're effectively only supposed to take 1 point, and the characters were just loading on lore sheets because it was just a lot of fun. She took one that made her connect to Hesha with the Church of Set and stuff like that, and that really just kind of fills in the character fairly well. We've over time gone through and renovated character sheets with audits and stuff, trying to figure out how things work a little bit better. One of the things that we did keep on Serendipity Weird's character sheet is the 5th level of the Week of Nightmares lore sheet, which is the Blood of Zapathasura. Now, the Blood of Zapathasura states that the Ravno Antediluvian met final death in July of 1999 at the hands of parties unknown. Armed with advanced weaponry and the powers of the sun, before he died, he drained Vitae from all his clan, driving them to frenzy and cannibalism in his death throes. Thick, sentient ropes of his Vitae stained the ground in Bangladesh, where he fell. The noonday sun did not destroy it all. You own a small vial containing the blood of the Ravno Antediluvian. What you do with it is up to you, and what it does to anyone who imbibes it is up to the storyteller. I am a huge fan of the Fall of Atlanta series, and in that, Hesha was actually in Calcutta while all this was going on, and I really don't see him not trying to obtain some of that blood. In the stories in the old World of Darkness books, the Ravno-Antediluvian Zapathasura was destroyed by 3 Kwai-Jin, one who is represented by a crane, one who is represented by a tiger, and one who is represented by a dragon, as well as with help from a group called the Technocracy, and just a whole bunch of stuff. Truthfully, The Week of Nightmares is an amazing thing to read. You guys should get into it if you haven't. It's really, really fun. It's a lot of lore at once, and I have come to end up starting most of the games that I've ever run in 1999 simply so I can screw with people with that. But the reverberations of it are still taking effect to Kindred to this day. And when Serendipity said that she wanted to take that, we came up with an idea that Hesha embraced her specifically so that he could use her as an experiment. After he embraced her, yes, Hesha is her sire, he gave her the blood of Zapathasura and didn't exactly know what to expect. And he didn't know for quite some time. It took him some time to figure it out. But basically, drinking the antediluvian blood rewrote her entire clan. She acts as if she has a sensitivity to the lights and things like that, but her primary clan weakness is the fact that she has a daredevil sensibility about her, and she also has the desire to devour weaker kindred whenever she has the chance. She has committed diablerie several times, and it's just been a very interesting road, because this was a way to get a Ravno into the game. When we first started playing Thicker Than Water, we did not have the companion, and we built her up as a Setite. She actually had all the regular Setite powers, but over time, when the companion came out, we actually did end up doing, like I said, a reinvention of Dawn, where her character started having the Ravno disciplines instead. So whenever I say that she has sensory altering abilities and stuff like that, I'm actually talking about the use of chemistry and the powers associated with the Ravno. So that is the answer of the big mystery of what is Dawn Rose. She is technically a Ravno who was embraced in through Setites but changed with the blood of Zapathasura. We run her as straight Ravno at this point in time. So since we're probably going to end up having the 500 subscriber special very, very soon, which is so crazy because we just ended up having the 400 subscriber special like 2 weeks ago, we will most likely be doing an interview with Dawn Rose. If anybody who's not part of our Facebook group, with the our World of Darkness Facebook group, but you want to have say on the voting on who we get to interview, by all means join. I let everybody in. It's not a big deal as long as you're a fan of the World of Darkness. You're in there. And also, if you have suggestions of what questions you'd like to ask her, by all means, hop on there and give them. You can also give those in the comments below if you are interested in that. I'm very excited to do this interview. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, I am Voivode Maquette. This has been my World of Darkness, and what Dawn Rose has been up to in the 4 months that the rest of the coterie has not seen her. She's been traveling with the Malkavian, Vasantasina. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with Dawn, because I'm pretty sure we will catch up to her relatively soon when the London Chronicle is over. Thank you for joining me. Good evening.